disappointing to lose the unbeaten start to the season. Harriers at times played some good football, with a lack of, I would have said, in the final third.
Very much so. The final third, which we normally judge every game on, whether defensively or attack. I think we let ourselves down in both penalty boxes. Our first goal comes from a corner. We get our noses in front. I think you asked the question, or it was asked of me, have you ever been behind and what do you look like? Well, we were 1-0 up after 5 minutes or whatever it was, and Ben Beresford gets himself on the score sheet. We then dominated possession because everybody probably thought it was going to be easy, and that's the hurtful part of it for me as a manager. I don't ever want anybody at the football club to get ahead of themselves, and I think we did. And I've just said that to the players. I've levelled that to the players. You know, we're going to get tested left, right, and centre because of who we are and what we are. And if we play pretty football, then you've got to have an end product, and we played pretty football without an end product today. Consequently, found ourselves level when they scored from a scrappy corner, which, you know, we pointed it out many times. You know, second phase, third phase, whatever it is. You know, but we've all got jobs to do. And we let ourselves down, and the ball went in the back of the net in a scruffy way. It looks like a scruffy goal to them, but it's not. It's a set piece. And then the second half, we made too many poor decisions regarding even controlling the ball, you know, and a lot of people can say that the surface wasn't conducive to good football. I'm looking at that pitch there, it's got plenty of grass on it, might not have plenty of water on it today, and it was a little bit sticky, it's got to be said, but if I kept on making the same mistakes as a player, as an individual, I'd change the way I play. If I'm getting caught in possession, I play 1 and 2 touch. If I'm not getting caught in possession, it's because I'm playing 1 and 2 touch, and therefore you'll be on top of your game. And people like Brownie, you know, he's been absolutely magnificent in the first 3 games, and he's just getting caught in possession too many times. He's only a young lad. When I took him off the field to play, he was apologising for his performance. He doesn't have to apologise, you just have to find a way. You know, you have to. The young lads, some of them are, you know, they've got old heads around them. You know, you've got people like Luke Summerfield. But again, Luke was starting to force it towards the end, and he was given possession away, which is very uncharacteristic of him. So there was a lot of uncharacteristic happenings out there, you know. Individually, we just didn't resolve any real issues to get the ball into the area what will hurt Warrington. We didn't do that often enough. You can see we huffed and puffed in front of goal and got into good areas, but we never had any real final product today, and that's the most disappointing part.
Yeah, it was said before the game that Warrington had a few injuries, and I tend to agree with you. I think, you know, within about the first 15 minutes of the Harriers were looking as though it was going to be a little bit too easy. They were knocking the ball about confidently and in control.
We don't mind that, do we? Confidence, control, you want part of that, you want all of that actually, and you know, but when you start believing that it's just going to take care of itself, then you're in trouble, you know. And it's that psychological balance about having possession, enough possession, but doing something with it, you know. We weren't really doing enough with it. The final third in both, as I've said, both penalty boxes, both final thirds, is all about the big bucks if you can create, and then obviously defenders putting their bodies on the line and putting their heads in where it hurts, etc., etc. And we just didn't do enough of that. Middle of the park, you can see in games like that, you know, you can be anonymous to a certain extent because there wasn't too much going on. It was a bit of back to front from them. Certainly in the second half, when they had space and behind, they were trying to turn us, and consequently we were making bad decisions and ended up defending a long throw or defending a corner because we made a bad decision. And then taking an age to get up to their final third because we were dithering and passing the ball slowly, and there was no real pace to our game. But you know, I've said this to the players, and I don't want it to be all doom and gloom because it's our first defeat. We need to take lessons from it, you know, regardless of whether we're playing at Agbra or whether we're playing away from home. Some teams won't allow you to play, some teams will be on top of you, and I thought, you know, 1 or 2 of their players really put themselves about. Whether we're full-time and they're part-time doesn't really matter if you don't apply yourself. And our full-time mentality and our full-time fitness levels really didn't show today, and I thought it would.
You've got an opportunity very quickly there within 48 hours to have to see a response, if you like, to that performance that the visitor Warrington City. You've got a bigger squad. We do look perhaps to give a few players a bit of a rest after the opening 2 weeks?
I think so. I think there's going to be one or two knocking at my door and saying it's my time, you know. Rhys McNally springs to mind, Rhys Devine springs to mind, you know, the lads who have been on the bench. They'll be knocking at my door as they are already, you know, why am I not playing? And the answer was quite simple, you know, we've won 3 out of 3 and I was never going to make too many changes, but I'm not saying it's time for wholesale change. I was 60 minutes into it thinking about 3, maybe even 4 changes, but you give fresh legs a chance, but you lose your organisation to a certain extent. But today it wasn't about organisation, it was about decision making, and we were slow, we were dithering, we were, you know, it just wasn't us. The first 3 games were synonymous of us, but I can play in a team that's winning week in and week out. You know, I'm 65. You want to play in a team that's winning week in week out, and you want to be running over teams, and you want to be dominating teams, and you want to be making right decisions, and we didn't do enough of that today.
Got a chance for some of those players to put it right there on Monday.
Yeah, a chance for everybody to put it right, because you know it's not doom and gloom, as I say. I am down. I don't like getting beat. But if there's a reason for it, or if there's an excuse, I'd rather have a reason any day of the week. We've got a 1-day turnaround, and then we're back in on Monday and bank holiday, and hopefully Agbrel will be bouncing, and we'll get back to winning ways.